No, it's showing that the same ideology, the same principle of needing to establish the authority, the kingship, the joint, correct, rightful rule of earth and the acquisition of the throne of God is held in both traditions, the Hebraic, Abraham, and the Egyptian, Pharaoh. And this is what causes the rivalry. Now this very idea of inheriting the throne, now you can see it's actually almost ironic. It is extremely powerful. Knowing this particular type of a background, it is exquisitely powerful and poignant to recognize that our facsimile number 3, Joseph Smith identifies as Abraham on Pharaoh's throne. Now, that's a shocker. You say, whoa, wait a minute. How on earth did that happen? This is an irony here. This is an astonishing turn of events. Why on earth would Pharaoh establish a complete foreigner, an outsider, someone from a whole other country, on his own throne? Well, the Genesis Apocryphon describes this a little bit in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the legends discuss, as well as the biblical commentaries. Abraham says to Pharaoh, well, no, Sarah is my sister. Now, Sarah is a beautiful babe. That is how the records, all of the records of antiquity that deal with this particular issue of Abraham going down into Egypt, they definitely talk about Sarah being one very, very beautiful woman. And of course, Pharaoh immediately says, aha, mine. I'm the owner of this country. I'm the ruler. I get what I want, and I want her. That's why Abraham said, look, save my life. My life is in your hands. This is one of the big 10 trials of Abraham. He says, because if I tell him you're my wife, he will kill me. Now, isn't it ironic, when I was reading this a couple weeks ago, after the angel comes to Pharaoh and says, dude, you are a dead man. You have taken this righteous man's wife by force. And Pharaoh goes, wait a minute, whoa, hold it. I'm innocent, man. Time out. Wait, he told me she was his sister, and I have not touched her. And the angel says, yes, I know you haven't touched her because I've been protecting her. You're darn right you haven't touched her. See, this is how the biblical record establishes this, to keep Sarah pure. Otherwise, Isaac is an illegitimate birth. They can't continue the priesthood and the kingship, see. So Sarah has to remain undefiled also. So Pharaoh then goes back to Abraham, see, in the record, and he says, Mazot. The Hebrew, I don't have it with me, or I'd read it to you. Mazot, what is this that you have done to me and my house? Why did you tell me she's your sister? And Abraham, completely nonplussed, says, well, why do you think, dude? I'm going to paraphrase this. Why do you think I would say that, you idiot? Because you know as well as I do that you would have killed me to have her. And you claim you're righteous? And Pharaoh realizes he's wrong, and he goes, oh. He said, well, I'm going to give you back your wife, and I want you to take your wife, and I'm going to heap gifts upon you. Oh, and he does. Even the biblical record, Pharaoh really lavishes it up with Sarah and with Abraham, and he says, now, get out. Leave. Scram. Do not stick around here. Because the entire household of Pharaoh was struck. No one could conceive, the women and the men, the whole country, because of what Pharaoh had done. And then he plays like he's innocent. And Abraham says, no, that's not going to do. You know darn good and well what you would have done. That's why I did what I did. And besides that, I didn't lie. She is my sister through the other line. And so it goes. Well, so on first blush, when you do a surface reading of the account, you say, whoa, what's this? I've never studied this in church. No, you haven't. That's the power and beauty of the book of Abraham, giving you that extra sensational information. And now, of course, John Twetness has done Brian Hauglund has done an enormous work on the traditions on the early life of Abraham. It's a gigantic text. I know I keep making a big deal about gigantic texts, but the information is enormous, and that's why I keep saying that. There is a lot of information that has come out since Hugh Nibley's study in his book Abraham in Egypt. So this is basically the idea, the rivalry, the setup, the establishment of the priesthood from the first time, and the legitimization of the kingship, and his justification, both sides, of being able to say, look, I'm ruling righteously. See, that's how the book of Abraham sets this up. Pharaoh was a righteous man. He was just imitating the order of the fathers. Well, we've got it in the Egyptian records now that he was imitating the order of the fathers. But when the true priesthood really does come along, and he tries to kill Abraham, you see, he tries to sacrifice Abraham. This is facsimile number 1, as Joseph Smith interpreted it. They use an Egyptian illustration of Osiris on a lion couch, but he's using this Egyptian illustration to describe this event that happened to Abraham in Egypt. Pharaoh actually tries to kill the true priesthood. Is it any wonder the earthquake occurs and the house falls down and there's huge fire and the priest of Pharaoh is killed and so on and so forth, and Abraham is saved? You're not going to get rid of the true priesthood by murdering it. No. Is it any wonder the household of Pharaoh was smitten with plagues and all? So it's a fascinating thing to see the tables turned. This is basically what Nibley is showing in his book Abraham in Egypt in this particular chapter. And I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop on page 90. There are some other parallels that I really do want to get to. And again, he has column parallels all the way through almost up to page 100. And then there's some other really interesting information that I have to share with you, because this is a theme that was lost, and it's been brought out magnificently by the prophet, and it is available again. And the way we can benefit from this is essentially in the same principle. The succession of the priesthood through the fathers. Who has the legitimate priesthood? Who has the right to use this priesthood to distribute greater light and knowledge and to further bless the earth? That is the whole point of the priesthood, as I told in another podcast in this Simplifying Nibley series. The priesthood is not an office where you get to brag and claim great glory and honor for yourself and show everybody else just how righteous you are. If you're using the priesthood for that, amen to it, you have nothing. The priesthood is used to control two things: the spirits and the elements. And the reason you do that is shown to us by Jesus Christ's mission and life story that we find in the four Gospels, where he blesses and heals the sick, the blind, the lame, the halt. And he improves the lives of those so that they can rejoice in the creation and further share greater joy and peace and happiness. This is the whole point. And that's why that first psalm, it says, don't walk in the paths of the wicked. The righteous will not be vindicated in the day of judgment like Abraham has been. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Thank you for sharing this Backyard Professor podcast series with me. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it. I hope I'm not too obtuse. If I am, let me know email, and I'll try to keep it even simpler. Remember, have a great life.